we've been talking a lot lately about Microsoft on this channel, about the Xbox backwards compatibility program most recently, and we've also talked about how underwhelming they have been this entire generation. Really, I mean, this is probably the most underwhelming generation Microsoft has ever done. It obviously can't be great if we haven't heard anything about the Xbox One sales in over 2 years. The last time we heard about Xbox One sales numbers was in 2016 when the CFO of EA, during a conference call, said the Xbox One sold around 18 to 19 million units, which was already more than the Wii U, but that's a given. The Wii U was an awful console with an awful gimmick and was doomed for failure ever since it was originally released. So we don't know how well or how bad the Xbox One has done because we haven't got any figures as to how well they've done. All we know is that Sony has kicked their ass brutally. Like, it's not even close. Who knows if they even have half the install base that the PS4 has. And a lot of people have different reasons as to why the Xbox One didn't do so well this generation, or why Microsoft didn't do so well this generation. Has to do with the DRM situation in 2013. It gave Sony a lot of momentum going ahead. Another reason is, for the longest time, for about a year or two, I think it was actually a year, the Xbox One could only be sold together with the Kinect. You could not buy it separately, and the Kinect was always online, so a lot of people had privacy concerns, and they also had concerns when it came to just, having to spend more money on something you don't want. So those, I would say, are probably the two immediate reasons why the Xbox One didn't do so well, but keep in mind, during the last generation, Sony made a lot of bad decisions the first few years of its life cycle, but ended up being able to turn it around to the point where, at the end of the day, Sony sold almost as many PS3s as Microsoft sold Xbox 360s, which is pretty astonishing, especially considering all the blunders that Sony went through from 2006 to 2009. But in 2009, they were finally able to get their act together, and they were able to turn everything around pretty much. But with Microsoft, it's been 5 years now since the new consoles, the quote-unquote new consoles, have been out. The PS4 and Xbox One came out in 2013. That is 5 years ago. So when people say it's too soon for them to release new consoles, no, it's actually not too soon, because 5 years is the average life cycle of a home video console. But we're pretty much at the tail end of the current generation. I think 2019 is when we'll start getting information about the new consoles, but pretty much the point of that is to say that Microsoft is just Sony has blown them out of the water. Microsoft has introduced stuff like backwards compatibility and Game Pass and other stuff, but at the end of the day, they still do not have any exclusive content. Really, they don't have any exclusive content at all. The Xbox has no exclusive content except for Halo 5, and that was like one of the only exclusives that you could only play on Xbox. PC. This is a huge mistake that Microsoft is making. It's part of what's killing them, honestly. They think it's helping their bottom line. Oh, we're expanding the Xbox brand. We're putting our games on PC, but you can only buy them through Windows, so we're still going to make our profits. It's not like we have to share with our profits with Valve or whatever by putting our games on Steam or something like that. But we're doing well. We're growing our brand. No, you're actually hurting your bottom line, not helping the Xbox brand grow. You are absolutely causing the Xbox brand to die a slow, painful death. Now, why do I say that? It's quite simple, actually. The Xbox brand. Well, first of all, let's talk about consoles. How do consoles make the most money? How do they make most of their money? Do they make it through first-party exclusives? The answer to that is no. They do not make most of their money from first-party exclusives. Here's the reason why first-party exclusives exist in the first place. The only reason why exclusive games exist is so you decide to buy their console instead of a competitor's. That's why Sony went absolutely balls to the wall last generation on the PS3 with all the exclusives they came out with. You had so many damn exclusives. You had Resistance, Killzone, Little Big Planet, Ratchet & Clank. There was just so many different ones. I can't even name all of them from the top of my head because there were so many of them. But what you've noticed now with Sony is that they're kind of weak on exclusives, at least compared to last generation. Now, why is that? I would argue that's because they don't have any real competition. What I mean by no real competition is that Xbox, I don't think Sony sees Xbox as a serious threat to their bottom line. I really don't, at least as much as they did last generation, because Microsoft and their Xbox brand has really, really, really died a lot over the years. Not enough to force them out of the console business like Sega and Atari. Well, I guess not Atari anymore because they're back in the business, which is a whole nother story. They're totally going to get their asses kicked, by the way, Atari. It's just a total joke. But Sony has been dominating the console market ever since 2013 because the Wii U was not even in the conversation. And the Xbox made a lot of mistakes initially to the point where Sony just trailed ahead of them, where they didn't even become a serious threat anymore. The only competition Sony actually has is PC. That's the only real competition that they have. And with Xbox, with them trying to like blur the line between console and PC, like, oh, we're releasing our exclusives on PC, that hurts their brand. Because guess what? Like I was alluding to before, the way that console manufacturers make their money, their most profits, do not come from exclusive games. So Microsoft releasing their exclusive games on another platform, and this is why Nintendo doesn't do it, by the way. Some people are like, why doesn't Nintendo put their exclusive content on like another console or on PC? It's because then they wouldn't be nearly as profitable as they are currently, especially with the Switch. I mean, the Wii U was a joke, but the Switch, they're making a shit ton of money with that. So I think Nintendo's probably the only exception to the fact, first-party exclusives are not what makes the most money on their platform. I mean, with the Wii, their exclusives were really, like, their first-party exclusives were not really what made the Wii all that money, as much as it was the third-party content that was released on the Wii. The third-party support that the Wii got. All of those Wii shovelware titles, as much as they were shitty and they were shovelware, all those gimmicks with the motion controls, that's how they made their money. The GameCube is another good example. The way that Nintendo made most of their money on the GameCube wasn't all on their exclusive content. It was also their third-party support. And even with the N64, a lot of the third-party support they got was essential to the N64 being a success. And especially with the Super Nintendo. Nintendo didn't make all their money from the Super Nintendo on Mario. The reason why they make games like Mario, the reason why Xbox makes games like Halo, and Sony with their exclusives, is because they're trying to bring people in. They have something unique that you cannot get on other platform, but that does not mean that the third-party content is not the driving force for a platform success. That's part of the reason, one of the big reasons why the Wii U was a colossal failure. And one of the reasons why Nintendo Switch is a big success, although the first-party content is a driving force for Nintendo's success, which can't really be disputed. If Nintendo didn't have all the first-party IPs that they had, they would probably be nowhere right now. But Nintendo has improved their third-party support on the Switch, and that's a big reason why the Switch is doing well currently. So let me just get to the point. The point is, Microsoft and the Xbox brand is suffering from putting their exclusive content on PC, because if you're a PC gamer, you have no incentive to buy an Xbox console. You have pretty much all their exclusives, except for maybe like Halo 5, on the Windows Store. Yeah, you need Windows 10, so if you have 8 or 7, you're going to miss out. But for the most part, if you're a PC gamer, you have zero reason to buy an Xbox One. Zero reason. Because the main reason why people buy consoles, especially gamers that prefer PC, which is a huge market, the reason why PC gamers end up buying PlayStation 4s and other consoles is because of the games that you can only play on that platform. Games like Bloodborne, games like Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last of Us, those type of games that you cannot play on PC. You look at all the PC gamers on YouTube. It's a good example. You see a lot of them, they're primarily PC gamers, but you ask a lot of them, and you see some of their videos, and they actually also own a PlayStation 4. Now, why is that? It's because of the exclusive content. That's what brings people in, casual and hardcore gamers alike. The most hardcore PC gamers still do not want to miss out on certain games, and they will end up buying a PlayStation 4. They obviously have the money for it if they're willing to throw $1,000 away on a powerful gaming computer. So it's not like they can't afford it. That's not the issue with those people. And with casual gamers, little kid wants the PlayStation 4 for Christmas because that game that you can only get on PlayStation, it looks so cool, and that's why I want a PlayStation 4, not an Xbox One. So with the little kid, with the Xbox One, with the console exclusives like PUBG, okay, yeah, those would bring those people in. But as far as the hardcore gamers are concerned, or the people who have a computer, they have no reason to buy an Xbox One, and that's why it hurts their brand overall. You're not incentivizing a large portion of the gaming community to buy your console. So what ends up happening is that all the money that you make from the Xbox brand, which isn't even the exclusive content, again, the exclusive content is only purpose is to bring people in, is to have an install base, because that's the attraction. But what people end up playing the most on their console isn't exclusives, it's all the third-party content as well. So if you're a PC gamer, okay, this is a good example, and because this is what the issue is right now. If you're a PC gamer and you have a Windows 10, and you can play the Xbox One exclusives, which obviously aren't exclusive if they're on PC, but you know what I'm saying. You have no reason to buy an Xbox One, but let's say those games you can only play on the Xbox One. You would end up buying an Xbox One, and you would probably also, let's say you're on PC, and let's say there's a third-party game that a lot of your friends are playing on the Xbox One. You're gonna also perhaps end up buying that third-party game on the Xbox One. So the point is, it really hurts their install base, and it really hurts their brand, because by putting your exclusive content on other platforms, you are pretty much making your console obsolete, and it's just plain stupid.